Hello, my dear students. Today, I have a heartwarming session just for you. The topic here is something to do with love. Love cannot be expressed in words, right? Love between a father and a daughter is inexplainable. It might be difficult for anyone to understand, but nevertheless, it exists. Don't feel disappointed by the strict manners or stern words. Apart from all of that, there is an ocean filled with love. If you don't believe, I'm just going to tell you a story about a little girl called Kezia, whose feelings for her father change from fear to understanding and will probably find an echo in every home. Now, what do you mean by this? Will probably find an echo in every home. What is that? This means that all the children will feel the same way as you're reading the story. So you all can relate the feeling of this little girl Kezia. Just like Kezia is full of fear towards her father, and later on, she understands his behavior and feels that he was concerned and he loved her. All the children also have the same feeling towards their parents, and you can relate this Kezia's story very well with your life. Okay, so let's get into the chapter. I'll be reading the lesson paragraph by paragraph, explaining it, and then simultaneously we'll be giving you the hard words and its meanings. Kezia is the main character in the story, and she is a little girl growing in her loving grandma's care. So let's see what happens to this little girl. And this lesson is being written by Catherine Mansfield. Catherine Mansfield is the author of the lesson. Okay? Come on, let's begin. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with, "Goodbye, Father." And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. In the evening, when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. "Bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there, and bring me my slippers." "Kezia," mother would call to her, "if you're a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boots." Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. By that time, he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. "Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today?" I don't know, Father." "You don't know? If you stutter like that, Mother will have to take you to the doctor." She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up, but only with Father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. "What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about?" "Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to that table carefully. He was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. Oh my God. See, you know, the first thing is, to the little girl, he was a figure to be feared. What do you mean by a figure to be feared? Figure to be feared is here, it is Kezia's father she's talking about. He refers to Kezia's father, the little girl's father. Now, you know, the story begins like this. It shows the fear that Kezia had for her father. She was so frightened of her father. She tries to avoid him, you know. So she wants to remain away from him. Every morning before going to work, Kezia's father, he used to visit her in her room and gave her a casual kiss. For that, Kezia would reply, "Goodbye, father." But see that father's love for Kezia. So this action shows that Kezia's father loved her. And those days, you know, there were carriages like horse carts. This was the means of transport those days. So whenever father said bye to her, he started to go to work. Okay. Here, when the father's carriage was going away from home, he was leaving home, right? The sound became fainter and fainter. Became fainter and fainter means the sound reduced little by little as the as the carriage went far away. As soon as it became fainter and when the sound started to reduce, you know, Kezia felt a sense of relaxation. She was just relieved, and she was out of that fear because her father had left, isn't it? Again in the evenings the same thing happened. Father returns home and she would hear his loud voice, and he will start ordering different things. He would order for tea, he would order for newspaper, and he would ask her mother, to see if the papers come. He would ask her to get him his slippers. So Kezia's mother would call Kezia and ask her to remove her father's boots so that Kezia can learn obedience. All this was taught by her parents. And then Kezia's fear always for her father was there. So she came down so reluctantly, unwillingly. Reluctantly means very unwillingly she came down because she didn't want to face her father, isn't it? Kezia's father was sitting in the drawing room, that is in the hall on the sofa. He would wear his spectacles, and he was looking at Kezia over his spectacles. He would put down the spectacles, and above the spectacles he would look at her. And that look, you know, she was horrified seeing that look. She felt that he was staring. Okay. And then Kezia was very slow in her work. So father would ask her to hurry up. He said, "Come on, remove my boots soon." So, and he would ask her whether she was a good girl. She used to stammer. Stammer means what? She was, she did not know how to answer. That's how she says, I don't know. That's what is stammering. Okay. She was not very confident when she spoke to her father. But with the other people, she was very nice. She never used to stammer with the other people. Kezia's father used to copy her, and he says, "What you don't know?" And he'll ask his mother to take her to the hospital, to the doctor for a checkup, because she stammers, right? So why did she stammer actually? She was, yes, afraid of her father. So the father would always think that something is wrong with Kezia. He would ask her, "Why are you so wretched?" Wretched means, why are you so unhappy? and mother would teach Kezia to behave in a better way. So he wants to say that Kezia seems to be so unhappy with her life that she didn't want to live any longer. That's what he uses the word on the brink of suicide. On the brink of suicide means about to commit suicide. Suicide is to kill oneself, isn't it? So he used to ask her to get the teacup and keep it back in its place. The feeling and that imagination that she had, about her father was, she used to see her father like a giant, especially when he yawns. Yawns means or kotai vidamode, he looked like a giant, a huge monster. That was the feeling she had towards her father. Okay. On Sunday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with father and mother. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. She sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched and asked the time, then looked at her. Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. Every Sundays, Kezia's grandmother used to send Kezia in the afternoon downstairs, that is to the hall. It was because Kezia has to spend time with her parents. So Kezia was asked to go down on Sundays because Sunday was a holiday and all of them will be at home, right? So she had to go down and but Kezia was supposed to behave in a very nice and decent way in front of her parents. They always had a very formal get together, a very formal or casual, very formal they were. So she had to behave really very decently in front of them. She felt that she was neglected, but every Sunday afternoon, when she went to her parents to meet them, in the hall, they have a nice talk with each other. Actually wanted to talk with each other. Actually, they had to talk to each other, but what the parents will be doing was, they will be doing their own things. Her mother will be busy reading, her father will be sleeping and snoring to glory. Snoring to glory means snoring. He will sleep. So Kezia had this image of her parents in her mind. She actually wanted to talk. They wanted to have a nice talk with each other, but this is what is the image that her parents used to create. Kezia had this image in her mind about her parents. They did not talk to her. They didn't spend time with her. On the other hand, they were busy doing their own things. This is what she felt. So when Kezia's father was asleep, she would sit down on a stool and she would watch him so carefully till the time he woke up. And he will stretch his body and then ask the time and then look at her. And he used to compare Kezia to a little brown owl. He'll tell Kezia, why are you staring at me like a little brown owl, he would say. One day, when she was kept indoors with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pincushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. Now Kezia was not well one day. She had a cold, and she was supposed to stay at home. So her grandmother suggested that she should be at home. Her father's birthday was approaching. Kezia's father's birthday was coming, maybe next week or so. So she told her to make a birthday gift for him. She asked Kezia, she gave her an idea. She says, Kezia, you make a pin cushion for him, and she also gave her a yellow colored fabric. Fabric is cloth, and it was a silk cloth to make the cushion. I'm sorry. Now Kezia put a lot of effort, to make that birthday gift, and she used double cotton. Double cotton is this thread. She used nice thread, and she stitched all the 3 sides of the cushion. See, a small picture is been given, an image is been given. This is actually a round cushion that I have showed, but this was a square one. So she stitched all the 3 sides and she made it like a bag. She prepared a bag, and that bag, that cushions always has to be filled with something, the old cloth or bits of unused things, all that should be stuffed inside, isn't it? So she made that bag, and she was searching to stuff things inside so that she could stitch the 4th side also. But now she was confused what she has to fill inside the cushion, because her grandmother was not there. She had gone to the garden. She was looking for something. She was searching for some items to be stuffed inside the bag. So she reached her mother's bedroom. She was looking for bits of paper. All this waste only will be stuffed inside. So she was looking for bits of paper, cloth to stuff to the cushion and to stitch the cushion. Let's see what happened next. Laboriously with a double cotton, the little girl stitched 3 sides, but what to fill it with? That was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden, and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps. I've explained this paragraph, I guess. Okay. Now on the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper, gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces, and stuffed her case, then sewed up the 4th side. Now what happened? This small little girl, she was very young, Now what did she do was, she went to her mother's room, and there she found a heap of sheet of paper. So what did she do was, sheets of paper she could find on the table. What she did was, she just gathered all those sheets, tore them, stuffed those pieces of paper into the cushion, and then what did she do? She stitched the 4th side of the cushion, and she prepared a beautiful gift for her father. So you just relate yourself to Kezia's action, Many children do such things unknowingly. Unknowingly, without knowing, you do certain things like this. You actually don't intend to harm anyone or do any mischief like this, but sometimes it ends up in a bad way. Now let's see why I'm talking to you about all this. I told you Kezia has torn the pieces of torn a few papers that was kept on the table into pieces. She tore it, and those were some important papers that her father had kept. And you know what will happen next, because all of us know how fathers will react. Same thing happened to Kezia too. Do you want to know what happened? Come on. That night there was a hue and cry in the house. Father's great speech for the Port Authority had been lost. Rooms were searched, servants questioned. Finally mother came into Kezia's room. Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on a table in our room. Oh yes, she said. I tore them up for my surprise. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. And she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. Well, he said sharply, Mother explained. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? No, she whispered. Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damned thing. See that the child's put to bed this instant. Crying too much to explain, she lay in the shadowed room, watching the evening light make a sad little pattern on the floor. Then father came into the room with a ruler in his hands. I'm going to beat you for that, he said. Oh, no, she screamed, hiding under the bedclothes. He pulled them aside. Sit up, he ordered, and hold out your hands. You must be taught once and for all not to touch what does not belong to you. But it was for your birthday. Down came the ruler on her little pink palms. Now see, there was a lot of shouting in the house because Kezia's father had prepared what? A speech for the Port Authority. That was for a particular meeting he had. And he was unable to find it, right? Now we all know that the speech had gone to Kezia's cushion, isn't it? She had torn it into tiny pieces and stuffed it into the cushion. The family searched everywhere. They asked the servants, and no one knew where the sheets of paper had gone. Finally, mother reached whose room? Kezia's room. Now, Kezia was an innocent girl. She did not intend to harm anyone, right? She did not actually do it knowingly. She was just preparing her birthday gift for her father. And she tells her mother that she found some pieces of paper, and because she needed them to stuff into the cushion, she tore them and she prepared a surprise gift. So the birthday gift was prepared for whom? For her father. My, unknowingly Kezia had done a great disaster. Great trouble has come on her now. Kezia's mother was so angry, so furious she was. She dragged her down. She took her to her father and she told everything. She explained her father everything. Now Kezia's father was also very tensed because it was an important document, right? He had lost, and this girl had torn it into pieces also. Kezia was scolded for her mischief, and he asked mother to fetch down that damned thing. Damned thing here is, the meaning of damned thing is usually, they express with anger for something. So he asked her to get those papers from the cushion. And it was an important document, so he had prepared, isn't it? He got very angry with Kezia. He stared at her, and Kezia was very scared. She started to stammer again. First and foremost, Kezia was already scared of her father. Now this has also happened. Gone. Kezia was totally in trouble, and Kezia's father asked her mother to put the girl to sleep. So the girl was taken upstairs. He goes to her room again. Kezia was very sad. He goes to her room, and then what did she do? What did he do? He said, Kezia, you have to be punished for what you have done. He took a ruler, a scale, and he said, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to punish you for what you have done. Father was very strict with her. So without punishing, he wanted to teach Kezia, or he wanted Kezia to know that she should not touch anything that does not belong to her. That's very true. So he want to teach something which is benefited in her future. Only if he punishes her now, she will not do it. Now, right now she was a small kid. She did not know the importance of those papers. She unknowingly did it, but tomorrow she should not do it knowingly, isn't it? So to teach her or to tell Kezia that it is she should not do such a thing and not to touch anything that does not belong to her, he punished her. But she tried to explain to him. She tried telling him, no, it was for a birthday gift that I was preparing for you, Dad. But that didn't work. Father did not listen to her excuses. He just hit her on her pink palms. So this is what happened to Kezia. Very sad, right? When grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in the rocking chair, the child clung to her soft body. What did God make fathers for? She sobbed. Here's a clean hanky, darling. Blow your nose. Go to sleep, pet. You'll forget all about it in the morning. I tried to explain to father, but he was too upset to listen tonight. But the child never forgot. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both hands behind her back and a red color flew into her cheeks. She was beaten, right? She was very afraid. Kezia was so afraid. Her father hit her small little palms with the scale. After a few hours, grandmother, she wrapped her. Wrapped her means she hugged her, she closed her with the shawl. And she tried to pacify her. Pacify her is to console her. She tried to console her. She put her on her lap. She was sitting on the rocking chair. And she asked Kezia to sleep. Kezia clung to her grandmother. Clung means she held her grandmother tightly. She hugged her grandmother tightly. But still she was not comforted. She still felt very sad. She was crying, and you know what she asked? She asked, why should God make fathers? That was her question, because she hated her father. She was so innocent. She did not know that she had committed a mistake. And everything that was in her mind was, she was preparing a gift for her dad, isn't it? So she was heartbroken. She did not understand why God had made fathers. Now Kezia's grandmother, she tried to console her. She gave her a hanky and she asked her to clean her nose because she had cold, and asked her to go to sleep. But Kezia could not, She could not forget the incident that happened. She was a small little girl, She did not realize that her father hit her to teach her a lesson so that she will not touch anything that did not belong to her. Grandmother told her to go to sleep and she would forget everything in the morning, she said. But Kezia could never forget anything. Whenever she saw her father coming, from that day onwards, she used to just keep her hands behind. She put her hands at the back, and her cheeks would become red in color. That means she was so scared of her dad. Okay, very sad, right? Let's see what happened next. The McDonalds lived next door. They had 5 children. Looking through a gap in the fence, the little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. The father with the baby Mao on his shoulders, 2 little girls hanging onto his coat pockets, ran round and round the flower beds, shaking with laughter. Once she saw the boys turn the hose on him, and he tried to catch them laughing all the time. Then she decided there were different sorts of fathers. Now the writer brings another family. He introduces another family, and you know that family is Kezia's neighbors actually. This neighbor's name was MacDonald, and his family, MacDonald's family that is. He had how many children? 5 children it seems. And Kezia, from her fence, she used to peep. Angande etti paakumbodhu, she can find that MacDonald and his children in their garden. They used to have lot of fun it seems. And that father, MacDonald, used to have fun with the family and children. They played a game called tag. Tag is the children's game of maybe a game of catching one another. Don't you play that running and catching? Something similar to that. So they used to play, the father and the children. The children along with the father had lot of fun. And what Mr. MacDonald used to do is, he used to carry the youngest baby, the little baby Mao, on his shoulders. And the 2 little daughters were there, his daughters. Those daughters were hanging onto his coat pockets. All small little children, right? So one this side and one the other side. And all the children were so attached to their father. They loved him. They loved him so much. They always used to stick to him. That's how that family was. And they used to run and run around the garden, it seems, on the flower beds. Flower beds is that grass and small little plants being grown in the garden, right? They laughed and laughed and laughed. That's how they were. But Kezia actually wanted to have fun with her father, but she missed all this, right? Once what happened, it seems, one day that MacDonald's sons, they opened the water pipe, and from the hose, the water just flushed out. The father became wet. MacDonald became wet. Even when he became wet, MacDonald was not angry with them. He tried to catch them and he was laughing, it seems. But Kezia's father was not so. He used to get very angry, very strict person, a very strict disciplinarian he was. He was not like whom? Like MacDonald. That's what she felt. She really felt very bad that her father was not the same as Mr. MacDonald. So she finally realizes, she comes to a conclusion that all fathers are not the same. God had made various kinds of fathers. That's what she felt, isn't it? So all this tiny little things and small little things, she missed. So this she really felt really bad for. Suddenly one day, mother became ill, and she and grandmother went to hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Alice, the cook. That was all right in the daytime. But while Alice was putting her to bed, she grew really afraid. "What'll I do if I have a nightmare?" she asked. "I often have nightmares, and then Granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark. It all gets whispery." "You just go to sleep, child," said Alice, pulling off her socks, "and don't you scream and wake your poor pa." See? Now one day what happened? This child had to be alone at home. Her mother became sick. Grandmother had to go along with her mother, Kezia's mother, to the hospital. Now she was all alone at home with the cook. And the cook's name was Alice. Now Kezia was okay, fine during the day. But at night, when the cook put Kezia to sleep, she was all alone, right? So Kezia started feeling scared. So Kezia is asking Alice, "What if I get a bad dream?" I'll get nightmares. Nightmare is a bad dream. Yeah. What would I do if I'm alone? Kezia explained to Alice that whenever she had nightmares, she would go to whom? Her grandmother was always there with her. So she used to go to her grandmother and would sleep with her, it seems. So she's telling her, Alice, how can I stay alone in the dark now? And I'm very scared. I can hear different kinds of whispering sounds that will make me feel that someone is around her. So she always had nightmares. She was very scared of the dark, and during the dark, this whispering sound, very slight little sounds that come, that actually is very frightening. So this child also was a small girl, so she was also frightened of all that. So the cook is asking her, telling her that, see, father is sleeping next door. Alice, you just sleep quietly. She removes her socks and she says, don't scream. She warns her. She says, don't scream and wake your father. But Kezia was helpless because she really didn't want to sleep alone. But the same old nightmare came. The butcher with a knife and a rope who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, Grandma, Grandma! Now what happened? The same nightmare Kezia had often seen, right? She would see a butcher. Who is a butcher? A butcher is the one who cuts animals, who cuts meat, right? So he had one big knife, a huge knife it was. There was a rope also in his hand. And every time she saw this nightmare, that butcher used to come near Kezia. And he had a very dreadful smile. A dreadful smile means a very terrifying smile he had on his face. And whenever Kezia saw him, she would feel that she was unable to move. She was so scared. She was terrified to see that butcher. And in her sleep, Kezia always cried out for help. She called for her grandma. And grandma used to take her and keep her and put her to sleep with her, I guess. So the same thing happened that particular day also. And now who's not there? Grandma is not there to help her, isn't it? Yes. She woke shivering to see father beside her, a candle in his hand. What's the matter? He said. Oh, a butcher, a knife, I want granny. He blew out the candle, bent down and caught up the child in his arms. Carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom, a newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, then carefully tucked up the child. He lay down beside her, half asleep still with the butcher's smile all about her, it seemed. She crept close to him, snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. Here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm, said father. Tired out, he slept before the little girl. Yes, she was trembling, isn't it? She woke up, she was shivering, she was trembling with fear. And she could see whom? Next to her, she could see her father standing next to her bed. He was holding a candle in his hand. So Kezia's father is asking her, why are you screaming? What happened? Kezia was calling out for her grandmother, right? And he had come to help her. Now he asked her, what are you screaming for? Kezia says that she saw there was a butcher and he was holding a dreadful knife and she wanted her grandmother. This is what she told her father. So immediately what did the father do? See, he actually loved that daughter, right? So what he does is, only that day she could see his affection. He carried her, he blew the candle off, he lifted her, he carried her to his bedroom, and Kezia's father put her in his bed next to him and covered her with the bed sheets. Okay. Now Kezia felt her father's affection. So she went close to him. She snuggled herself. Snuggled herself means அப்படியே இறுக்கி படுத்துக்கிறது. She was under his arms, safe under his arms. Okay. And snuggled herself towards her father, and she held his shirt very tightly so that she would not feel scared again. Now Kezia had overcome her fear of her father. Now she was no longer scared of her or afraid of her father. Now what did she do? She just held her father's shirt tightly and she snuggled herself towards her father. What did father say? He said, now rub your feet against my legs so that you can become warm. He's telling, put your leg on my leg and rub it so that it will become warm. See the father's affection. And before Kezia could sleep, father was tired, so he slept before she could sleep. But Kezia was with whom? With her father. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. MacDonald. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and sighed. What's the matter? Asked her father. Another dream? Oh, said the little girl, my head's on your heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you've got, father dear. Now this is where Kezia realizes her mistake. She comes to know that her father is very affectionate towards her. She says, oh, my father is a poor man. He worked so hard, he works so hard. He's not as big as I thought he was before. Now she felt that her father was a hard-working man, a poor man because he works very hard. So he gets very tired and goes off to sleep. That is why he was not able to play like Mr. MacDonald. But Kezia felt that her father's heart was full of love for her. She realizes now only that what she had done was wrong. She had torn his important documents, right? That was wrong. That was the speech written by him. So all this thinking, and she was just going on thinking all this, and she felt that it was wrong, and because it was wrong, her father had beaten her, right? So he had been strict with her because she committed a mistake. Although Kezia's father was asleep, he could hear her sigh. She sighed. Sighed-na அப்படியே ஒரு பெருமூச்சு விட்டு, நான் பண்ணதுதான் தப்பு. It was my mistake. That is why father behaved that way. And I know my father is very nice to me. She could feel that love that he had for his daughter. He heard the sound. Though he was asleep, he could hear Kezia's sigh. She was just like lying on her father, and she was just talking to herself. Maybe she was thinking and realizing all that. And he could hear that. And he's asking her, did you get that dream again? Kezia replied to her father, no. I have placed my head on your heart. And she could hear the heartbeat of her father. So she compliments her father. Compliments means she says, only after so many years she has realized, that her father has a big heart. She compliments. She gives a good remark to her father. So Kezia is showing her love for her father, as she had realized that her father also loved her, right? So now you can relate certain incidences in your life, children. When your fathers or your mothers discipline you, it might sound bitter, but when you think about it later, you will realize as to why they were so strict and stern to you. It is all for your good. So don't ever see your parents as enemies. They can never be your enemies. It is only to discipline you and to put you on the right track. They behave harsh sometimes, but that doesn't mean they do not have love for you. The person who can love you the most can be your parents alone. So remember that always. And with this beautiful words, I want you to obey your parents and always keep them as your role model. With this, I would like to close this beautiful chapter, The Little Girl. And I've given you the meanings. You can go through the meanings of all the hard words. Thank you very much, children. A figure to be feared, a person to be feared, glad sense of relief, feeling relaxed, fainter, reduce, stutter to stammer, wretched, sad. On the brink of suicide, about to commit suicide, gravely, seriously, laboriously, difficulty, hue and cry, angry protest, nightmare, a bad dream.